Hello everyone, my name is Aarti and you're watching HW News. Punjab, Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Kerala are the states that may face an electricity blackout in the next few days. The state governments and several discoms have already started pressing the panic button over electricity supply, but the central government says that the panic is completely unfounded. The post-pandemic world has necessitated a shift in electricity consumption trends. Most of the professionals are still working from home. Students are attending online classes at home. They require an uninterrupted electricity supply. Moreover, with the festive season approaching, the demand for electricity has seen a significant uptick. Earlier on Saturday, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal asserted that the national capital has been struggling with energy supplies for the past 3 months. Furthermore, he urged Prime Minister Narendra Modi to intervene and resolve the crisis immediately. In his letter to Prime Minister Modi, Chief Minister Kejriwal drew the attention of PM Modi towards the prevailing coal shortage continuing since August and September. While Power Minister R.K. Singh had earlier in an interview to Indian Express said that such shortages were encountered earlier as well, it never led to any kind of blackout in the country. However, the current situation is likely to persist for the next 6 months and it can prove to be very uncomfortable for the government. In fact, India's energy crisis has been induced because of critical coal shortage. According to a report on October 6th, almost half of India's thermal power plants was left with just 3 days worth of energy. So what is the truth behind the alarm bell over electricity blackout? Is it a genuine concern or just a panic induced by a rumor? Let us figure out in this video today, but before that, let me tell you, we spend hours in researching and putting together the story for you, so that you have a full picture of the story when you watch the video and you can form your opinion. So if you like the videos that we make, the journalism that we do, please consider supporting us. Go to our website, click on the support on the topmost toolbar and choose the plan that you want to take up. Please do subscribe to us. Please do pay us. Now, as I said, the energy crisis looming over India is mainly due to the coal supply shortage. Now, many would wonder that why even after a significant push towards renewable energy in the past few years, PM Modi especially focusing on building solar power energy capacity, is India facing an energy crisis, that too because of coal shortage? Well, the number has the answer. Even today, 70% of India's energy demand is met by coal-fired powered plants. As per the data from the Central Electricity Authority, over half of India's 135 coal-fired power plants were left with an average of less than 4 days of coal stocks in September end, down from the average of 13 days at the start of August. On October 4th, 16 thermal power plants with a power generation capacity of more than 17,000 megawatts had 0 days of coal stock. An additional 45 thermal power plants with a power generation capacity of more than 59,000 megawatt had coal stock only sufficient for up to 2 days of generation. In total, plants with a power generation capacity of 132 gigawatts out of the 165 gigawatts of capacity monitored daily had critical or supercritical levels of coal stock. The shortage of coal is more acute in plants which are not located close to coal mines. These plants account for 98 of the 108 plants seen to have critical levels of stock, that is under 8 days. So what are the reasons of shortage in coal supply? First reason is sharp rise in demand. With much of the population now vaccinated and the fears around the third wave of the pandemic lowering significantly, countries are now focusing on economic revival. India is no exception. Industrial activity has gained pace and thus the demand of electricity has also risen. Consider this for an example. In August 2019, when India was not facing any pandemic, people consumed 106 billion units of power. In August this year, that is August 2021, India consumed 124 billion units of power. Take another example. The total demand for power in the country hit 174 gigawatts on October 4th, which was up 15 gigawatts from the same day in 2020. A larger proportion of the increased demand was met by the coal-fired power plants. This led to an increase in their overall contribution in India's power source mix. It rose from 61.9% in 2019 to 66.4% in 2021. Now let us talk about another factor, which is global price rise. This is also another factor impacting the energy production in the country. The coal-fired power plant account to 70% of the total electricity generated, but even in that, 3/4 accounts for domestic coal supply and 1/4 is dependent on imported coal. As economies open up in the rest of the world, the demand for importing power generation fuels such as coal has risen too. This rise in demand has corresponded with a significant global price rise for coal. For example, Indonesia is one of the biggest coal suppliers for India. The price for coal imports from Indonesia was at around $60 per ton in the month of March. Now it has risen to a whopping $200 per ton in the month of September. Now let us talk about the natural causes, which is heavy rains. Heavy rains have also contributed to the coal shortage in the country to a significant extent. According to reports, the thermal plants already had below average coal stock in the month of April and June, whereas continuous rains and floodings in August and September, especially in areas where coal mining is prevalent, led to less production. This resulted in a catch-22 situation for the power plants. On one hand, they had to cut down on imports due to rising global prices. On the other hand, domestic production could not be boosted in the period due to shortage in coal production. Now let us talk about the China factor as well. Interestingly, India is not the only country in the world facing this power outage crisis. India's neighbor China is also facing the similar issue, perhaps for a longer time than India. As many as 100 million people in China are living in darkness for the past 3 weeks in the northern provinces. The blackouts have affected the factories and residential areas in China alike. This has led to fears of global supply chain disruption. Interestingly, India and China remain among the top 5 coal producers and exporters in the world. Thus, the coal crisis in India or China can also have global ramification. Now the most important question, how will you be affected because of this? Short answer is power cuts. And even if the government says there is no need to panic, the state governments have already raised alarms. In fact, the Power Minister in Indian Express interview said that there is no need of rationing the electricity or cutting electricity supply on rotational basis, but several states are already experiencing the same. In Punjab, there is a 3-hour daily power cut till October 13th. Kerala Electricity Minister K. Krishnakutty on Sunday said that the state government may have to resort to load shedding in case of shortage of power from central pool continues for a long time. Rajasthan is resorting to 1-hour power cuts on a daily basis. The Tamil Nadu Generation and Distribution Corporation has also said that power will be suspended in parts of Chennai for carrying out maintenance work in the city. Tata Power Distribution Limited, which supplies electricity to parts of the national capital Delhi, on Saturday it had also warned of intermittent rotational power cuts in the national capital. Meanwhile, today, the Bangalore Electricity Supply Company Limited, which is also known as Bescom, has announced on its social media handles that several areas across Bangalore would face power outages on Tuesday, that is October 12th. While they are yet to list any reason for the move, it is anticipated that it could be because of the power crisis. Now the question is, what is the government doing exactly about it? The interministerial team, including representatives from the Power and Railway Ministries, Coal India Limited and the Central Electricity Authority and Power System Operation Corporation is monitoring the supply of coal to the thermal power plants. Meanwhile, Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Monday met cabinet officials in charge of the coal and power ministries. Well, now the point is, before the crisis turns into a storm for India, where people have to go back to the days of power cuts and blackouts, the government should fast forward its efforts and ensure that the electricity generation is brought back on track. Do let us know what you think about this in the comment box below. For more news and updates, you can log on to www.hwnews.in. Also, if you like the videos that we do, please give us a super thanks. Please do comment below the video, subscribe to our channel, and if you're watching this video on Facebook, please do like our page and share this video to as many people as possible. Thank you.